Are you stuck, feeling confused, drained, and constantly in a place of confusion, just wondering what is going on with my life? How did I end up here? What am I supposed to do? And more importantly, how do I get out of this? Well, if these are the questions that you've been having and you've been asking yourself these questions constantly and constantly and constantly, you're in the right place, because we're going to talk about how you could get free. And when I say free, I don't mean free in a way where we're talking about slavery or being in bondage as far as shackles and chains and things like that, but we're talking more on a higher frequency, a higher level, where the chains, they are going to be representative of the things that are constricting you in your life. There are things right now that are constricting you in your life, and those things are the things that are keeping you from your success. Hi, my name is Bilal Alaji, and I'd like to welcome you back to This Ain't My Life. And on this channel, we talk about how to transform and become the best version of ourselves that we can become. And if that is what you were seeking in your life, then I welcome you. I welcome you to challenge yourself, and I welcome you to take a journey on this transformative journey to become where you were destined to be. So in my own personal story, in my own personal journey, I went through these same questions that I proposed to you just now. And in those questions, I was really just at a point like just trying to understand, like, how did I get where I am right now? Why am I feeling so restricted? Why do I feel like I'm in bondage? And so that led me to journaling and writing and chronologizing my story. And my story came in the form of this book, This Ain't My Life. And this story right here, this powerful, impactful story, is how I was able to find all of the answers through my journey and through my story. And I always tell you guys that you have the same thing. You have the same kind of outlook on life. You have a story just like I do. I'm not so special where I'm the only one who has a story. No, we all have stories. Doesn't mean that you're all gonna write your story and propose it to the world. But what I am saying to you right now is I need you to internalize what is happening to you. I need you to be able to look at it in a very constructive way to understand what's going on so you can unpack it and you can understand where it is you're to go or what it is you're to learn from it. So let's begin by talking about this bondage that I proposed. The question that I'm asking you right now is, are you in bondage? Are you in bondage? And what would you be in bondage of? You could be in bondage by your thoughts. Your thoughts alone can hold you captive. Just having dark thoughts, thinking of things that either can take you in a dark place or take you in a place that is not conducive or constructive to where you want to go or what you should be doing. We all have those bad thoughts. I mean, if you're pumping gas at the gas station and someone walks by, a lot of time you think of something negative. You think about what they're wearing. You think about what they're driving. The automatic instinct is to find something negative. And that is because that is a training of thought. And when you are able to retrain that thought, you will no longer think that way. You will be in control of your thoughts. Your thoughts are controlling you and holding you in bondage. You got to get a grasp on those thoughts. You got to get those thoughts under control. Seize the thoughts. Become the captain of your ship. And that will allow you to slowly break the bondage of being in a place where your thoughts are driving you and becoming the driver of you, your ship. Are you also bound by influencers? When I say influencers, I'm referring to people who have impacted your life in the most impactful way. So that could be your teacher, that could be your parent, that could be a friend or even a spouse. Are these people holding you in bondage? Are they giving you thoughts, seeds of what you should be doing or what you could be doing? Are these the people that are now restricting you from the freedom that you need to have in your life to be your own thinker, your own free-willed person? Something for you to think about, because being in these relationships and having these influences in your life, they're more meant to be people who are guides, mentors. These are people that are meant to be to hold good criticism in your life, but not there to constrict you. They're not there to hold you bondage by their expectations. And so it's very important that you understand where and how far you allow influencers to seize your own thinking, your own power of your will and your thoughts. Are you also bound by your experiences? Experiences are some of the things that bind us the most, because these experiences hold us in a place that we now call trauma. And this is why people drink. This is why people smoke. This is why people go into depression. This is why people are always seeking an outlet, because they want to escape those thoughts. They want to escape the experiences. They want to escape all the noise that's bombarding them from influences and from all these places that are controlling their own thinking power. Well, experiences that have happened to you, whether many years ago, in your youth, in your inner child time of your life, or even as an adult, these experiences play over. Just like, when you TiVo on TV and you just keep replaying it over and replaying it over, your mind will have that same effect on you if you allow it to, if you stay stuck in that place. And so we're going to talk about how to come out of that and how to be free from all of these restrictive places that continue to just harbor on us and bind us and constrict us. We got to get free of that, because being free of that allows us to have the freedom that we've been looking for in our lives, to just breathe, to be in motion in the way that we've always wanted to be. There are more ways of being in bondage, and I need you. I know this has been a lot so far, but I need you to really understand how strong being in bondage by all of these different topics really compel you to just not getting what you need out of life. And so one of the other main components of being restricted or bound in life, so you are not free, is codependency. Codependency means that you are always looking for someone else. You are constantly at the mercy, or you are constantly looking for someone else to do something for you. That's what codependency is. And when you are looking for someone else to do something for you, you have just relinquished your power. Your power's gone. You have totally given your power away. And you are not standing in a place where you understand that you need to take the initiative and you need to stand in whatever it is that you are either looking for or you're proclamating that you want to do. So this codependency, whether it's a relationship, and I'm really identifying relationships here. We're talking about a friendship. We're talking about a situationship, someone that you really put a lot of your heart space into. And when you are constantly leaning on this other person, first of all, it's not even right to them, because we all have to take ownership of what we are and who we are. But when you put that much value into someone else's opinions, someone else's thoughts, someone else's feelings, then you have just completely relinquished your own power and you've given it away. And so codependency is another way of just being bound. You're completely restricted. You're no longer operating in a place where you have some power. And we're gonna unravel all of that, and we're gonna learn how can we get ourselves back? How can we pull this back in and just reanalyze it in a way where we can get some control? There are two other aspects of codependency. The two other aspects are needing others' approval. So you have a major decision that you're going to make in life, and because you have this partner in your life that you're codependent on, it is completely contingent on what they say and how they feel about you and your decision. So your decision, you have completely given it away to your partner that you're codependent on. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't get feedback, you shouldn't get criticism. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a open, communicable relationship where you are able to discuss matters, you are able to just, get that feedback and get an understanding of some of the things that you want to do. But we're talking about your life. We're talking about life decisions. We're talking about things that you are desiring to do with yourself. How can someone else be in control of that? How can someone else be a co-pilot on these major decisions that you are going to make for yourself, for the life that you've been given, that you are to author, and that you are to create scripts and stories for? How can someone else come in and just write that script for you? That cannot happen. That cannot happen. And the last part of codependency is that there's a fear there. And most people are operating in fear. And one of the biggest components when it comes to relationships and it comes to people who are in codependent relationships is they have this fear of being alone. And so when you have a fear of being alone, someone's gonna walk out on you. If I say this, if I make this decision, they're going to leave me. If I invest in myself, then they're going to walk out on me, or they're going to find a replacement. And so you're constantly in jitters, and you're constantly, on eggshells about what is going to happen, what will be the outcome, how will they feel about what I am going to do. And that is one of the biggest catastrophes that you can make, and it just completely holds you in bondage. You are now bound to this person in a way that you cannot escape. And they're not necessarily doing it to you. You're doing it to yourself. And that's because you have given them so much power that power you haven't understood that was power you were supposed to keep for yourself. That was power that you were supposed to have. And so that is another reason why you are bound and you're not free. Now, there's three other things that we're going to look at just really quickly about how you remain in bondage. You also remain in bondage by just societal norms. Society puts you in bondage. If you're following status quo, if you're following everything that society tells you to do, then yes, you will be bound, because society doesn't necessarily have the recipe for what it is that you are to do in your life. Society has its own motives. Society has its own agenda. Society has its own plan crafted out for how it sees itself. It has nothing to do with you. You have been uniquely crafted and designed for what it is that you are to do in your life. And so society binds you. Religion binds you. Yes, I said it. Religion will bind you and hold you in bondage if you are not a free thinker, and if you are not someone who completely understands their own willpower and freedom within what it is that they are to do with their life. Now, religion is good. I grew up in religion. I love religion as far as its order. I love the way religion has such wonderful parables, stories, life lessons. Religion has a part in our society that is extremely, extremely necessary. However, religion has a way of shape-shifting and moving people into restrictions, and these restrictions do not allow them to be free thinkers. These restrictions do not allow them to explore and navigate this wonderful universe that has been created for man to explore, for man to completely just go in and navigate with all of his energy and complexities that of his understanding. If you're restricted, you can't do that. If you're told how to think, if you're told what to say, if you're told how you should pray, if you're told how you should reach out and talk to your Heavenly Father, if you're told all of these things, then you're in bondage. You have to be able to have these connections on your own. You have to be able to excel and permeate so that you spread yourself into a way where you are now in a deeper connection, not only with yourself, but with the universe. The last thing that holds you in bondage is expectations. People will have expectations for you all the time. People will decide what it is that you should do. People will tell you how to talk. People will tell you how to dress. People will have so many expectations on you that you begin to adopt those expectations, and you put those expectations on yourself. Now you're in complete bondage. So how do we get out of this? This was so much information that I just gave about bondage, and believe me, it's not everything. This is not the entire list. But my God, is it not enough? This is enough to drive someone crazy. And we're wondering why people have mental health problems. We're wondering why the frequency is dropping. We're wondering why people are disenfranchised and disassociated with their own family members. There's so much chaos going on with all of these clashing frequencies that we cannot understand why there's no cohesiveness. There's so much friction going on right now. So let's talk about how we're going to get out of this. We need to be free. Our agenda is to be free flowing, to have freedom of expression, freedom of our willpower, freedom where we are happy, we're joyous, and we're operating within our power. Well, the very first thing that you need to do is you need to make a decision. Make a decision. Make a decision on what you want. Make a decision on what it is and how you want to live your life, how you want to navigate this world. And the way that you do that, when you make that decision and you stand on what it is that you want, the very thing that's happening when you make that decision is you're letting the old die. You have to let the old go. It's not serving you. And when you let go, this letting go that you're able to do and you're willing to do, this is the freedom process. Remember, Moses said this to Pharaoh. He said, "Let my people go." What is letting go? What either you look at it as a parable or you look at it as being, this real thing. If it is real, what does letting go mean? And the first letting go is in our mind. We have to let things go in our mind. Remember, the thoughts have been holding us captive. And if you are letting go what was so that you can let it be what it should become, then you are now on this new path. And the new path will show you new ways. New ways will show you new outcomes. And so that leads me to my next point. The next point is that once you let go, it's time to do something different. We all know the old adage that, you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, then you're pretty much living a life of insanity, right? But we focus so much on what insanity is that we don't talk about what is fulfillment, what is being free. Well, freedom is the ability to navigate and to move with no restrictions, right? That's freedom. You make a choice and you abide by that choice. Well, now that you've made a choice, what will that choice do for you? Where will that choice take you? And when you do something different, right, then the doing something different, it does something to your body. It does something to your mind. It's letting it know, okay, not only are you taking control, not only are you establishing that something different is about to take place, but the body is now, shocked, and it's saying, okay, all right, we're no longer in control. Who's in control here? And then you step in and say, I'm in control. And this is what we're doing now. We're doing it this way. And so that it just eradicates all the influencers. That just eradicates all the expectations. That just eradicates all of the codependency, because you have made a choice. And now it's like, we're going to do something different here. We're going to take a new path. And so that's how you do it. And you make a proclamation, right? This proclamation is, this ain't my life. This ain't my life. The life that I've been going down, the road that I've been traveling, it's not for me. And you know what we said. If the reality you see is not what you desire it to be, then simply proclaim, this ain't my life. So we're going to do something different. We're going to travel down a different road. And that leads to the second point. The second point is, we made a decision. Now we're going to break the cycle. Completely, utterly break the cycle. When you break the cycle, that's a declaration that you are standing up for yourself. You have broken all barriers. This standing up for yourself is what the universe needs of you. The universe needs to know that this is something that you desire. This is something that you will. This is something that you want. And so when you stand up for yourself, you're letting influencers, you're letting naysayers, you're letting also not only the universe, but you're also letting those who place expectations on you. You're letting them know, no more. This will happen no more. And so as you continue to stand up for yourself, the very next thing that's going to happen for you is you're going to walk a path that's less traveled. You're going to go down a road that others cannot follow for you. Because the thing about being free, the thing about finding yourself, the thing about going down your journey is, and I need you to understand this, your journey is so unique that it's crafted only for you. So a lot of people are not going to understand what you're talking about. They're not going to understand where you want to go. They're not going to understand what it is that you want to do. And that's okay. And you have to be okay with that, because as you're walking down your path, who's going to walk down this path with you? There may not be too many people that go down this path with you. You may be alone. And I know that's scary, because we already talked about the fear of losing people. So are you going to stay in that fear of losing people, or are you going to stand in your power, stand up for yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to walk down this path because I made a choice. And when I make choices, I stand on my choice. I'm not going back on my choice. I'm going to stand on this choice. And so that's what this whole process is starting to get you to start to put together, right? You're starting to put these little pieces together. And now you're going to walk down a path that is less traveled. And that's scary because you don't know the outcomes. You don't know what to expect down this path. You don't know who, you just don't know what's going to be along this path. Are there others? Am I just going to be by myself? Will I get hurt? Who knows? But do you want to stay where you were? Is bondage better? Or do you want to bet on yourself and take a chance and go somewhere where you already know intrinsically inside, you know that it's better for you, but are you willing to make those sacrifices? Are you willing to place yourself in this uncomfortability to get where it is that you want to go? When you are breaking the cycle, right? As you're breaking the cycle and you're walking down this path that is the path of uncertainty, the thing that is happening is you are beginning to unlock your hidden power. Unlocking your hidden power is probably one of the biggest gems, lessons that could ever be taught in this entire world. Not enough people talk about it. But on this channel, we're going to constantly be talking about how to unlock our power. Because the power that we have, the power that will emanate from us, this light that we have that shines so brightly inside of us when we activate it, this light is what gives the world the character, the charisma, it gives it the resonance that it needs to be the world that God has created it to be. And so you unlocking your power and walking towards this path, which is called your destiny, this is where you will begin to shine. You will begin to find yourself. And so whether you're too fearful to walk down the path, or whether you have the ability to do something different and stand in your power, you will begin to walk down this path that will lead you to unlocking your hidden power. The very last concept that I would like to go over, because we want to make sure that we don't abuse your time, but I know you're enjoying this lesson, and if you are enjoying this lesson, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that notification bell and also subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you. This is a channel that's going to be all about transformation, growing, and becoming the best version of yourself. So, share this information with others and apply it. Apply it so that you can, see how these lessons will become applicable in your life. Now, let's get to this last piece. The very last thing that will allow you to be free is you want to be authentic. You do not want to be the false person. The false person is the person that just goes along with everybody, right? Whatever everyone else wants to do, you do, but deep down inside, you don't feel it. It's not resonating with you. This is not, you know this is not what you're supposed to be doing. You know this is not where you're supposed to be at, but you go along and you just play along nicely and you smile and you give everyone what they expect for you to do. You fall into that category of expectations, but you know that this is not who you really are. And so you lead with this false person. But when it's time for you to be free, and it's time for you to fly and become this best version of yourself, then you have to be authentic. Because you're walking down this new path. You're doing something different. You're standing up for yourself. How could you do all of those things and be something other than what you are supposed to be? No, you have to be authentic. You have to be authentic. You are who you are. If these people do not like you, if these people do not understand you, If these people do not see your path, those are not your people. Those are not your people. God doesn't make confusion. The universe doesn't create chaos or disorder. It's very structured, very organized, and also very fluid. So if it is fluid, then we are to be fluid. And what is meant for you, it will be right there. It will just come in very fluid. There will be no hardship when you're flowing in your right power, when you're flowing on your right path. So be authentic. If you don't know how to be authentic, because you don't just wake up tomorrow and become authentic, that's a process. But you got to start somewhere, right? You can't just always make excuses and say, oh, one day I'll be there, one day I'll be better. No, you got to start somewhere. So the very first thing is to just have this concept of being authentic, having some integrity, right? Having morals and standing on something. What is it that you stand on that you just won't compromise? That it doesn't matter who says it. Doesn't matter if it's your mother, your father, doesn't matter if it's a lawyer, a doctor, whoever says it, you're not compromising. That's your authentic self. Your authentic self will always let you know, because you'll have discomfort. When you're going down a path that you ain't supposed to be going on, you will feel it. You'll have chest burns, you'll have a migraine, might have blurry vision. Your body will let you know that, no, this ain't right. This is not for us. It may be for someone else because that's where they're supposed to go, but it ain't for you. When you are authentic, you will start to rise to this level of becoming self-actualized. Self-actualized is being able to rise to the highest level of self-consciousness. But you can't get there if you're not if you don't have authenticity about yourself, then you cannot rise to becoming self-actualized. So self-actualized is a very delicate, it's a very intricate process. But this process leads you into this fulfillment. It leads you into joy. It leads you into just releasing every bondage that has been placed on you. Everything that has been coming at you from the world, everything, whether it's these influences, expectations, codependencies, all of these things, society and religion, all of these things that are coming at you, when you're self-actualized, it acts as a repellent. It's like Rain-X. Rain-X on the windshield wiper. It just beads up and falls right off. That's what becoming self-actualized is. And anything that the world throws at you it'll be like nothing, because you will be harnessing such powerful energy. You will be on such a direct path. You will have such a wonderful relationship, not only with yourself, but with the universe. And so this self-actualization, it's a method, it's a process. The last thing, when you are navigating, right, being free, you have now reached fulfillment. You have now reached joy. You have now reached your true power, your true authentic self. So you're no longer in bondage anymore. You are no longer looking at the old person. It's just nothing but a memory. It's just this phase that you now went through. And the phase, you are appreciative of the phase, but at the same time, you understand you will never, ever go back to that phase. So I hope this really helped you. I hope that you really understood how deep and how intricate this whole process is. When you are looking to be free, there are things you got to do. You have to make a choice, right? You got to make a choice. And when you make the choice, you're saying to yourself that you want to let the old die. You know, after you do that, you want to break the cycle, the cycles that you've been going through, the things that you are so comfortable doing, things that have happened to you as a norm or what you think is a norm, whether it's your family, whether it's your ideas and concepts, or ideas, ideologies, religion, philosophy, whatever it is that you are constantly going into this cycle with, it has to break. And once it breaks, then it allows you to start the construction phase. And lastly, you want to be authentic. You don't want to be other than what you are. You have to be what you were crafted to be. You cannot be other than what you are. And if you want to create this false person, this imposter, then you will show the imposter, but the imposter will never be happy. And your true self will never be happy, because the imposter always wants to change. The imposter always wants something different. The imposter always is changing, and you cannot keep up with the imposter. You can only keep up with the person who is self-actualized. So that's today's lesson of how to be free. Again, my name is Bilal Alaji, and I'd like to offer you that if you want to learn how to truly be free, I have a masterclass where I teach all of these steps of how to get to your destined path in your life, where we talk about unlocking your hidden power. We talk about relationships. We talk about, the self-actualization method. If this is something that you want to do, then send me a message and I will show you how to get involved in this dynamic masterclass. I'll end on this wonderful note that if the reality you see is not what you desire it to be, then simply proclaim, "This ain't my life." Take care.